Hello, healers and health seekers. It's me, Ichoda, healing with medical medium information for almost 36 months now. This is Pendleton's tail. He likes to walk around on the table. If you want to know what I'm healing from, mast cell activation disorder, dysautonomia, POTS, hypothyroid, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, migraines, PCOS, multiple chemical sensitivity, SIBO, gastroparesis, and a whole host of other diagnoses. The list is in the description box below, along with my story. There's links to other videos and blog posts, and you can go find out all about my healing journey, which is what I'm here to talk about today. Today is What's Up Wednesday, and that is the day where I come here, make a video about my healing journey and what's going on with me in my process. So I am really excited because today I'm actually shooting a video on the day that I would normally shoot a video, and that hasn't happened since I have gotten in the RV, I don't think. I've tried, and I just never seem to make it on my regular day, and I'm really excited that today I have. Currently, I'm raw for June, doing the Medical Medium 28-day raw cleanse. Probably just going to try to keep it raw for the whole month of June. Let's see if I can go all summer. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I am on day 4 today. I'm on day 4. In addition to raw, I'm eating fat-free. I'm eating salt-free because my body prefers it that way. I don't need salt when I eat raw food, so there's no reason to use salt. And fat-free, just my body feels better. Here are my experiences so far. The first day, I felt good. I had good energy. I think I ate enough food, and I did pretty well. The second day, I had energy until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it took a sudden turn down. My mood went down, my energy went down, and I just started not feeling great. And I was kind of out of it. My thinking was a little bit foggy, and I was like, oh, here comes the detox already. Third day, I felt better. I had consistent energy all day and was able to make foods and have ideas for foods and make food for my family, and my thinking was clearer, and I finished the celery juice book. And Anthony William is a genius, I'm telling you. He says things like he's not a smart guy, but then, are you kidding me? You're a genius. Look at all of that you put out and the amount of information that he understands about medical conditions and the medical world, and then just our world in general. It seems pretty smart to me. So yeah, that was day 3. Good energy, good consistent energy all day. And I'll just tell you my food yesterday. Yesterday I had lemon water in the morning, and then I had celery juice, and then I had my watermelon blended with lime. Then I had the heavy metal detox smoothie. After the heavy metal detox smoothie, I had a smoothie of papaya, strawberries, peaches, and bananas, and dates, and a little bit of honey. And it was so delicious. But then after that, I was like, okay, now I need some leafy greens or some mineral salts or something. And I opted for cauliflower. There was a recipe that the Healthy Life Feels Good had posted on Instagram for teriyaki, sticky teriyaki cauliflower bites, and it was a cooked recipe. And I was like, I looked at the ingredients, and I'm like, I can totally adapt this for raw. I'm making this into a raw recipe, and I'm gonna have this. And I also made a cooked version of it for my family with the raw sauce that I made, and everybody loved it. It was so good. For me, I just dipped the raw cauliflower into the sauce, and for them, I did it the way the recipe calls for, because it's like a breaded cauliflower, and you bake it in the breading, and then you put sauce on it, and then bake it some more. And it was so good. And my son even loved it, and he is the pickiest one in the house. So that is a recipe that I can make again and again, and I'm very excited about. Then after that, and I went for a walk in the afternoon, and then after my walk I came in and I made some spinach soup, and I had more lemon water and went to bed at a reasonable hour. I got to bed around 10 o'clock. I was so happy. I was like, oh, it's my old schedule coming back to life. And yeah, I just felt good throughout the day. I just felt good, and my thinking was clear, and my energy was consistent, and I got all this stuff done, especially the food prep. And it was a good day. And then I slept really well, and I woke up today before the sun a little bit, like kind of with the sun, but right before the sun. And I was well rested, and I was ready to be awake. And I immediately thought to myself, oh, I'm gonna make a video today. That's what I'm gonna do. And I was really excited about it. I was like, today's the day I usually shoot videos. Oh my gosh. This is what I love about rock lenses, is that the days where you have the energy, because of course sometimes there's going to be detox and fatigue and a little bit of brain fog and stuff like that, like symptoms will come up because of the detox. But the good days are so good because the energy is consistent, and I just feel lighter in my body, and I feel good, and I feel nourished, and all of the food I'm eating is hydrating, and it's so great. The other thing I've noticed is my clothes are fitting more loosely, not just since I started the cleanse, like before I started. I just started noticing in the past, I don't know, week or so, I'm like, every time I put something on, I'm like, this fits more loosely than it did before. Now, we don't have the scale in the RV, so I don't have any way to like measure the numbers. I guess I could measure around my body, like with a tape measure. I could do that. Hold on. Muffins? Okay, great. Come on. Come on. No, come on. Come on. That's enough. I could measure around my body with a tape measure, and that would give me some numbers to work with. But one of the things, like the ways I notice if I've lost weight, in addition to obviously my clothes fitting differently and being more loose, is that my apron, my kitchen apron that I wear every day, when I tie it around my waist, I notice if like the strings have gotten longer, and the strings have definitely gotten longer, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I wonder how the number has changed, but I won't be able to find out until we have our scale again. That's okay. I don't really need to know. It's interesting, except for the part where my pants keep falling down, and I might need to buy some new pants because I can't keep my pants up. So yeah, overall, been feeling really good. Oh, and my skin's getting a little clearer each day. Fingers crossed that it continues to do that, and that I don't keep having these huge flare-ups of my skin. But detox does pull stuff out, so you never know. I don't know. I almost try not to focus on my skin, but how can I not? It's on my face. You can see it every day. It drives me crazy. But one of the things about eating a clean way and eating in a way that hydrates your body is that, boy, I really notice if I start to get even slightly dehydrated now. Like, I really notice. Like, if I forget to make my lemon water, even if I'm eating hydrating foods, it's like I'll get thirsty in a way that's, I think it's true thirst. And it's just pretty interesting to notice. Somebody brought it up to me the other day, and I was like, yeah, that's true. I noticed that too. That, they're noticing, like, they truly get thirsty, and that they really feel it if they aren't constantly drinking. And I feel it too, because I know, like, it's different than it was before. It's like I could go, when I was chronically dehydrated, I could go so long without drinking liquids, and that's of course not good for you. But now that I drink liquids constantly and that I always am eating hydrating foods, it's like if I eat foods that aren't hydrating, like cooked foods, unless they're steamed, aren't hydrating. And even steamed cooked foods, I think, are less hydrating, obviously, than raw foods. But if you, like when you bake them, or even, like, I even don't really like eating any dehydrated food other than dates. anymore, because the whole point of raw living food is that it's a hydrating food. Like even just sitting here talking for the video, if I'm not drinking and I'm talking, makes you dehydrated faster. And I just noticed, like, I gotta be constantly drinking. I don't think that's a bad thing though, because I'm hydrated. I'm so hydrated. Oh, my strep symptoms have been coming down. So remember that strep flare I talked about? That has been improving greatly, and I'm really excited about that. Like this morning, I woke up, I'm barely sniffy, and I've been sniffy every morning that we've woken up here, like every morning since we got here. Now granted, it's spring, so it's allergy season, and we are in a place that is famous for being a high allergen area, and so for me to be sniffy, there's pollen in the air, there's all kinds of probably pesticides and other stuff, because we're in a rural area and there's probably agriculture around here somewhere, so that's gonna happen. But today I woke up not very sniffy, like just a little bit, but not like it's been, so that's interesting. And the urinary stuff with the strep flare is subsiding substantially, and that's really good. And one of the symptoms I've had consistently that it's like it's gone away sometimes but then comes back and then keeps being consistent, and it has gotten really bad here because it gets much worse in any kind of humidity or heat, is I have edema in one of the ankles that I've fractured. I've fractured both of my ankles at different times, one of them twice, and I can't remember which one. Probably the one that has all the edema. 2 injuries in the same spot. The ankle with the edema is the same one that has the plantar fasciitis. It's in the same foot, not surprisingly. My lymph clearly has trouble moving on that side more than the other side, and there's a blockage, and so that's the edema. And there's extra viral activity going on in that foot. It's my right foot. The swelling has gone down significantly lately, even if I'm on my feet all day or not on my feet all day. Whatever usually triggers it, it has been so much less, and I'm very excited. That's probably why my clothes are fitting looser too. Probably all of that edema in my whole body. It's just that I notice it in my ankle. So that's really exciting. So if you are doing the Raw 28-day cleanse or Raw for June, how have you been feeling? I would love to know. And even if you're not, I'd love to know. It's always so exciting when symptoms improve, because it's a victory check. Every time a symptom improves, it's a victory check. It's something that I think is super important to focus on, is even the tiniest improvements. Honestly, I wish that from the very beginning I had kept a spreadsheet. This is what, if you're just starting out, I would recommend doing. I think I'm going to make a video about this, but I just would recommend keeping a spreadsheet of your symptoms and then rating them on a scale of 1 to 10, and then checking in every month and going down the whole list of symptoms and seeing where they are on the scale and seeing if those symptoms improve, because it is so easy to forget the symptoms that you have that are secondary symptoms. Like, for example, I forgot that I used to have really bad dry eye, and I'd had eye floaters. I forgot about that because it was never, when I was in the heart of my chronic illness and in super chronic pain and depression and anxiety and all of my symptoms, being allergic to the world and not being able to walk and all of these things, and being in a wheelchair and not being able to leave my home, I did not care about friggin' dry eye and eye floaters. Like, that was not my focus. I was not thinking about that stuff. But both of those things disappeared very quickly, and I had forgotten completely that I even had them until like somebody else was talking about theirs, and I was thinking, oh, I had that. I had that, and it's gone. It's like sometimes you don't even know what symptoms disappear, or you don't know what improvements are happening, because when something is happening slowly over time and in gradual increments, you adjust accordingly and you forget that it was even happening in the first place. It's very easy to forget. So that is why I think it's super important to celebrate all of your victories, celebrate every tiny improvement that you notice, and to really focus on that. Like, focus on what you can do, and it also helps you remember, like, oh, that's right, I couldn't do that before. You know? Oh, that's right, I lived at a level 8-9 chronic pain before, and then in a few months I was at like a 1 to 2, and then it was just gone. I mean, what? And sometimes you don't even notice until all of a sudden you realize, like, oh, I'm not in pain. It's amazing how quickly we forget, especially with the secondary symptoms or even the peripheral symptoms that we just don't even think about, because sometimes those are the first to improve because they're not as serious as like deeper stuff. And healing is not linear, so it's a roller coaster. So we have good days and bad days, and sometimes, but I will tell you what, incrementally, my bad days 1,000 times better than my best day when I was in my deepest chronic illness. So I wouldn't trade this journey for anything, because there's so much that's healing, so much like emotional stuff that's healing, and I just cherish every step of the way, even the hard stuff, because every hard thing I go through, it's temporary, it's gonna pass, and there's greater things on the horizon. Thank you so much for watching this video, my healers and health seekers. Please give a thumbs up if you like this video. I cherish your presence on my continued healing journey. I am so grateful for this channel and this outlet for my documentation of my healing journey, and for you coming along for the ride and continuing to ask me questions and keep me thinking and challenged. And I love that. I love it. And I want to wish you the greatest blessings on your continued healing journey, and remember to stay curious. I love you so much, my healers and health seekers, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.